So the recording's beginning now. Welcome again to everyone who's joined us today for the closing session, the final session of the Adult Learner Summer School. This isn't the last thing that we're doing this year, but it just kind of formally brings together what we've been doing over the last few weeks. And as I said at the beginning, we're very, very pleased that people have been able to join us despite it being in this slightly more distant, tricky online space. So we're really grateful that we have managed to develop a summer school community over the last few weeks, and we're great that you're interested in pursuing your learning. Today's session is going to kind of bring all that together. Here are some pictures from previous summer schools. I think we said at the beginning, this is the 11th time we've run the Adult Learner Summer School. And although you can't physically be in a room together, I hope you get a sense from these group pictures that we always do at this on the celebration at the last day that it's very much about community. The whole point of the Lifelong Learning Centre and becoming an adult learner is building that sense of community to give you the confidence to go on and to support each other as peers, as mature students who are moving forward in their learning. And I think that's one of the real strengths that mature students have, is they develop these incredible bonds and help each other through the next stages in their journey. I'm going to put my video off now just in case it's interfering with anyone's connection. And today's session is really going to be looking at what you've learned. So you may have learned from the summer school, you may have learned things about interacting with technology, you may have learned things about the skills that you already have that are very, very transferable to higher education. We're going to be looking at the Photo Voice project, which I think some of you have been able to take part in. Casey's been running through the Padlet, and that's been a lovely way to keep the reflection going in a very visual, kind of creative way throughout the Adult Learner Summer School. But we want that reflection to go on beyond these sessions. So we're going to be exploring later in the session ideas of reflection, theories of reflection, what that means as an adult learner to be looking at yourself and thinking about where you've come from and where you're going and reflecting on your learning all the time. And then we'll be closing with looking at next steps and how the Lifelong Learning Centre can help you as you move forward the next stages of your journey. So I'm going to hand over to Casey now to take us through the Photo Voice project.
Thanks, Olivia. So the Photo Voice was a project that we have run alongside the Adult Learner Summer School for the past 2.5 weeks. And for those that took part, you will know that you were asked to take a picture of something in your life that represented learning to you, and we left this wide open. So we wanted people to just reflect on an experience of learning or an image that represented learning to them. And we actually opened it up to those that attended the summer school, but we also put it out to some of our community partners and some of our students as well, some of our current mature students. And we had a few back, and there's a couple of slides now that I'll go through. If you did take part in this and you actually want to explain your photograph, as you can see, we've got April, who is part of the session here. April, if you do want to take part, then just put your hand up and let me know, and I'll give you the space to explain what's happening. But if not, I'm happy to describe that. But yeah, you would you like to just explain your photo here at the bottom then, April?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. What it is, I got this laptop a couple of months ago because I've had the smartphone before, and I took a picture of the laptop and the earphones because at the moment, you know, like a couple of weeks ago, they were like useless because I was just scared of signing in the sessions in the summer school, you know, and other things. I can email on the computer and I can type pretty good, but doing stuff like this, the interactive sessions, it's all new to me. So I took a picture of the computer and the earphones to show how determined I was to succeed. And that's why I'm so proud I've managed to log in today. So that was the idea why I took the laptop and the earphones, because they were like a challenge to me that I was determined to succeed at.
Yeah, I can see
But I
that.
do like Joseph's picture. That's really, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can see
Thank
from
you.
thanks, April. Thanks very much for that. I'm sure,
Right. Okay then. I'll
thank
just turn
you.
my mic off now. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can see then from April's picture that she's also put a pen in there as well. And in her description, it says, I'm a pen and paper person as I'm 56 years old, but I've struggled at the online sessions. I'm determined to succeed at education at Leeds. And it's called New Beginnings. So again, fantastic that you've been able to capture something that really means a lot to you in terms of your learning journey. And everybody's learning will be really different. Everybody's idea about their own learning and what learning means to them will be very different, because we're all different. We've all got different life experiences and different skill sets. I'll just talk about Joseph's, the top picture, which is a lovely garden that he sent through. It says, learning helps me to see the beauty of nature. With learning, I can create amazing craft from what we normally don't consider as important things, like green grasses and trees, etc. So I think we can see learning in lots of different environments. We've got a technology environment with April's at the bottom, that's showing the use of a laptop that she thought was a bit useless a couple of weeks ago. And then we've got Joseph's at the top, which is nature, and there's definitely learning in nature as well. So I'll just go on to the next one. If anyone does have any comments as we go through, then please just pop your hand up and you can say something if you like. So the next slide, we've got Snow. Snow, you are here. I don't know if you'd like to pop your mic on and say a little bit about this top picture at all. So I'll give you the opportunity to do that if you'd like to. Don't worry though if not, I can talk through it, or if you want to write anything else in the chat, then please do. So it says, learning is the key that opens the whole world's doors towards you. That was really I had to read that a couple of times to kind of get my head around that, but once I did, it was really quite profound. Almost like instead of me opening the doors onto the world's waiting for me behind the doors. It was very well put, and I thought the picture was really beautiful as well. There is something about new beginnings, isn't there, behind the idea of a door, a closed door. And we've got Solomon on the same slide as well. So Solomon, I don't know if you'd like to say something yourself since you're here, if you want to pop the mic on, if you feel comfortable. But if not, then don't worry.
Okay. As I wrote, saying that to me, learning means communicating as a process of exchange between two or more brains, as a giver and a consumer. I've always been saying that learning is a process, and standing in front of an educator, a lecturer, a teacher, you exchange. Every tutor, every educator learns something from the student as well. So if I engage with my computer, I see the computer as a communicator, because I'm learning something through the computer brain. And at the same time, the computer also gets something from me to make the communication a good process. And then my idea of learning is more like using a computer, which enables your brain to communicate to the brain of the computer in exchange of information. So that is how I see learning to be. So anytime I get the opportunity to read a book, I see myself communicating with the brain of the book, standing in front of a educator, exchanging with the brain of the educator. So any opportunity of learning a new thing, being outside, being virtual, being physical, anything that I'm learning, I see it as an exchange of two or more brains at a time.
Thank you, Solomon. That was really, really well put. And as you were talking there, I really could see these two brains as a community and learning from each other. You know, we learn from each other all of the time. And I like this to kind of strip it back. You know, you're stripping back this idea of learning to the brain's function and sharing information. You know, a giver and receiver of information. And I think learning can very much be like that. You know, we learn with our mind, don't we, in a way, and we share information with other minds. You know, it's fascinating. Thank you. I just want to say in the chat we've had Snow. Thank you, Snow, for adding. You've put, I'm just going to say this for the recording, but it says, but what I mean is that behind the door there are so many beautiful things, but without learning we may not realise it. And learning really does open up new experiences to us, and I think that's reflection. And I think by learning we reflect, we think about what we're experiencing, and we ask questions about it, and we maybe ask other people's opinions about it as well. And it's really good. So thank you, Snow, for adding that. It's not just focusing on what you study, it's wider than that. Yeah, and it certainly is linked. Topics are linked to each other. They have relationships with each other, these topics that we might focus on, and it's all part of the bigger picture of the world we live in, isn't it? So I'll just go on to the next slide. We've got two really fantastic pictures here again. The top one is from Anna, who's a current student, and as you can see, it's a little bit of a kind of word, it looks like a word search. And it says, learning is lifelong and aids development of new skills, knowledge and confidence to help you move closer to your dreams. And as you can see, it's got lifelong learning. We didn't ask her to create this. She did this as part of her professional studies degree. I think she's in her first year, but she also did a learning and teaching module that has obviously allowed her to develop this idea of what learning is as well. And you've got skills, achievement, self-belief, reflection, power, fun, knowledge. So there's many aspects of lifelong learning as well. And Anna, if you've been in any sessions with Anna, she's really great, and she's really able to share her personal experience of being a mature learner and what that means to her. So the second one on here is Joe, and Joe is with us. If you'd like to say anything, Joe, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this is a blanket that I've nearly finished it now. I made for my daughter, and I started to learn to crochet in February. I'd been suffering quite badly with anxiety, and somebody at work was setting up a crochet and knitting group, and I couldn't do either. I've tried a couple of times and never really succeeded with it, but they suggested it'd be a good thing for me to do for my anxiety, and so I went along, and the two ladies that were running it were just so encouraging and patient. And it started off that I couldn't really do a single stitch, and then within about 3 weeks I was managing to do quite competent, only simple stitches, but competently enough to start the blanket. And then lockdown happened, and it's been great because it's just been something that I can pick up in the evenings and carry on with. And it's something that 6 months ago I couldn't, if you'd handed me a ball of wool, I couldn't do anything with it, but now it's something that I'm quite proud of, and I think my daughter will like. And so I'm in my 50s as well, and it just shows that, you know, it's never too late to learn a new skill, and if you've got patient teachers who are giving you encouragement and good feedback, that it makes a real difference.
Well, thank you so much, Joe. You're so right, and I'm very impressed with what you created in lockdown. And it's for someone else as well. So, you know, your motivation has been to create this for somebody else. And I just love that. I suppose you've placed yourself within a community of people that are learning this new skill and going to support each other.
Yes,
to go in.
Yeah, we've carried on meeting during lockdown, going on Zoom, And a lot of us were complete beginners, but we've all managed to make something. So it's been really good.
Brilliant. And I can just see from the comments, you know, there's a great conversation happening there about what learning is, and I think Fiona said earlier that that learning is a part of a community, you know, it's a family almost as well. So, you know, we can learn on our own, and April is told us already that she's done some YouTube sessions, which is absolutely fantastic, and we would encourage anybody to do some online kind of self-motivated learning. But you can't beat the community aspect as well, and it goes hand in hand, doesn't it, of the individual project that you're aiming towards, as well as the wider community, because then you get to share your learning experience with others. So really fantastic. Yeah, is it all right if I carry on then, Jo? Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, no, that's fine, thank you.
Lovely, thanks so much. Right, so we've got two great pictures here, really lovely. We've got Suma, who says, I am proud to be a mature age student, simple and to the point. This is with Tom Ward, who's the Vice Chancellor of the university, and if I'm not wrong, this is when Suma actually graduated from the PHE, which is Preparing for Higher Education course, and she took part in this photo voice activity, and she sent this through just to show, I think, you know, for her this has been such a life achievement, going on to study, getting a degree, and I think it's totally opened up a new community for her, in terms of peers, mature student peers that would support her through this journey, as well as the learning from the course that she's on now. I think she does professional studies now, but she's definitely one of our advocates who would say go for it. And then we've got the wonderful Jenny who's joined us. Jenny, would you like to say anything about your photo?
I am wonderful. Everybody, sorry I was a bit late to join you all. Yes, this is me. I found yoga since lockdown because I wanted to try and keep myself sane. I do struggle sometimes, so I thought I'm going to try yoga, and I've actually really got into doing more difficult bits just to test myself and get myself out of the comfort zone, which I think is really important when it comes to learning as well, to get something out of it, and sort of to make yourself feel a little bit uncomfortable, and it just feels a bit more rewarding, doesn't it? And that's about it, really.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I love that. I love about your comfort zone, because I don't think we ever get past. We never try anything new if we don't step out of our comfort zone, and I think we've really got to push ourselves. You know, we've really got to say, where's the line where I'm most comfortable, and I want to step over that line. And I'm quite impressed with Jenny's picture, because originally the picture was the other way around. So she actually originally looked like a superhero flying through the sky, and then I realised it was upside down. So I mean, still very impressive, Jenny. Well done. And I'll just go, we've got one last slide, and we've got two pictures here. The one on the left is a picture from one of our current students, Russell, and he says, learning means pushing ever onwards up what sometimes feels like an impossible climb, and just when you think you can't go on, you look out and see the amazing view and wonder, how far will I be able to see once I reach the summit? Wow, I feel so inspired by his words, and I'm just really kind of impressed at, you know, his kind of view of it's a struggle, isn't it? It's a struggle like walking up a mountain, and then when you look back, you think, I've done okay, actually, you know, and it's really important, and reflection is really important for that, and it's a skill that we must really develop, I think, when we're on a learning journey, because it benefits us in the long run. So we will cover that. I almost feel like we need to go home now. We're done with that quote. I feel like that's summarized everything in life, hasn't it? Very inspirational. And we've got just this one I did, which was all about technology, and my colleagues will know that technology has not always been my favourite area of work, and I've really struggled in the past. And then I realised during lockdown that technology skills can be learned with equipment, like April's got the equipment, with and with the opportunity to do it, and it's not just reserved for tech people or people who are good at it. It does take time, and there is a big learning curve, but actually it's for everybody. You know, technology can be learned by everybody. So that was my kind of reflection on what I've learned, and I've learned how to use technology much better during lockdown. So I'm just wondering, has anyone got any final thoughts? There are a few people who didn't take part in the What Learning Means to Me activity, and if there's anybody here that feels they might want to pop their mic on, who hasn't contributed already, if you do feel comfortable saying that, saying something about anything you've learned, then please do take this opportunity to share with us. But don't worry if not as well. And if something comes to you a bit later in the session, then just put your hand up and with the little icon, the little man with his arm in the air, and you can certainly share. Bev, lovely. Yeah, you'd like to say something?
Yeah, it was just I went on the PHE in 2007, and I had to redo my GCSEs. So I think I did one at 45, one at 46. Then I did the PHE. So it's just that to let you know that learning is not about an age. It's about pushing yourself a little bit and seeing where you get. And once you start on that journey, you just find the strength to keep going. I remember when I first came to the Lifelong Learning Centre, I was convinced I'd fail, I wouldn't be able to do it, but the help that I was given there really kind of, inspired me to go further. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting again. I've had a bit of a long break from it, but I'm looking forward to starting again. So yeah, and the other thing, I used to help the other students with their IT, because that's my sort of forte. So they help me with my assignment writing, and I help with IT. So it's a good trade-off.
Yeah. Oh gosh. You're one to definitely have around, Bev, I reckon. I feel like I need to be a bit closer to you if you're tech-wise.
Yeah. Then you can help me with those awful. I hate that assignment. I've always convinced myself that I could never write an assignment. But if someone says it's a piece of writing, I could do that. Sometimes you hear a word and you're frightened of that word, but an assignment really is just a piece of writing. So I have to keep saying that to myself. So I just wanted to share that you can, and it's worth pushing yourself. And even in the pictures that we've seen here, everyone's giving us something that can definitely inspire us. So yeah, just wanted to share that.
Oh, thank you, Bev. Yeah, really, really, really good point, actually, that, and I'm so impressed that your attitude to learning is still so strong as well. And, I don't think we ever stop learning. That seems a bit cheesy at times to say, but it's true that I think, we may have seasons where we dive in and we give it our all, and then things might go quiet for a while, and that's absolutely fine. We should never feel bad about that, and then there may be another season where we dive back in again and we enjoy learning and get a lot out of it. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much, Bev. Thanks for contributing. Thank you. Is there anybody else then before we do move on to the next slide? Anyone who hasn't contributed that might like to say anything? Don't worry if not, don't worry. Okay, but like I say, if you do want to say anything throughout, just pop your hand up and we will make space for you. Okay. So I'm gonna go on and pass on to my colleague, I think Fiona now, or Olivia.
Yeah, thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for participating in the Photo Voice project, but also for the lovely comments and thoughts that you've put in the chat that have expanded on that, because I know not everyone was able to add something, an actual picture, but that you may not know it, but you have begun the process of reflection. I mean, we're all reflecting all the time, and as we said at the beginning, it is a key skill for academic learning. But in the interest of reflecting on the summer school before you then move on to whatever's next for you, we thought it might be a good idea to refresh our memories on what we've done over the last few weeks. Obviously, not everyone has been able to come to every session, and I know some of you have had technical issues and may not have access very much, but I hope you've been able to catch up with some of them on YouTube. And not, but do feel free to go to our YouTube channel after today's session, and you can have a look at any sessions that you missed. So we broadly grouped the different sessions over the Adult Learner Summer School into these 3 themes. The Learn and Discover being about having a taste of different programs, and we tried to give quite a wide range, a bit of an overview of different courses that you could do at the Lifelong Learning Centre, just to give you a flavour of the sorts of things you can study. And these included part-time, full-time courses, lots of different programs, such as on the 25th of June we did a taster for professional studies, which was about leadership, and on the 2nd of July we did an Islamic history taster on Baghdad and the House of Wisdom, which was a taster for the Arabic, Middle Eastern and Islamic Studies programme. We also, throughout the few weeks, had the theme of explore and plan, and that included sessions like the virtual campus tour that Jenny ran, which was a lovely session. It was quite emotional, actually, seeing all those lovely pictures of the campus and thinking about how we'd normally be all together there for the summer school at this time of year. If you didn't get a chance to attend that campus tour session, there's another one coming up in a few weeks, so we'll send you the details and all the follow-up information after today. There was also Jenny and Paul studying as a mature student session on Friday, which is a lovely way for people to hear from other learning champions and hear a little more about what the reality of studying as an adult can be. Welcome to the session, Munira. Thank you for joining us. And then the 3rd theme was reflect and develop. So within that we had the careers session that Casey led with Denise and Mohammed on study for a job you'll love, and there's another one of those coming up in a couple of weeks as well. The welcome sessions, obviously, and the Learning Champion panel. And I think this is something that we've picked up on, that you seem to have got an awful lot out of hearing from the learning champions. We always think of the secret weapon, because although we are very passionate about adults learning, and we believe very, very strongly that anyone should have the opportunity to access education at any point in their lives, it's the authentic voice of adults who are actually doing it now and fitting it around their lives that really help you to see that it can be possible at any stage in your life. So that was the beginning of the summer school. This was the final week, and my goodness, we packed it in. So yeah, the business taster Monday, another professional studies taster on living locally and thinking globally on Tuesday, learning environments, learning for the future, which was the taster for our learning and teaching program, and the civil disobedience or crime and deviance taster for preparation for higher education last night, which was really interesting. And then also information sessions on getting into university, and then all the activities that have been happening on the Padlet, and the photo voice throughout, and reflective blog. Yes, it's lovely to hear, Joe, that you found the Learning Champions amazing and positive and inspiring. We never fail to be blown away by them, but how articulate they are and how strongly they feel about sharing their experiences. So we wanted you to think through what skills you feel you may have developed for the sessions, whether you've been in them live or whether you've caught up with them on YouTube afterwards. And this is an opportunity to use something that we haven't used an awful lot in these sessions, which is the pencil. If you go to the top of your screen where all the different icons are, including the T, you see the pencil there. If you click on that, you can then do a little tick next to any of these skills that you think you might have developed. So you may feel that you've developed online learning skills. I know I have. I'm still not getting it right, but we're online learners. That's marvelous to see you. We're lifelong learners, sorry, so it's great to see you interacting. Critical thinking skills, beginning to question beliefs and assumptions. Listening skills, oh, this is lovely to see. Career planning, so it's nice to know that some of you are already starting to think, okay, well, where is this going to lead me? And then reflective thinking, which we're going to talk more about in a moment, and time management, because even just fitting these sessions in can be quite a pressure when you've got work, family commitments, other things going on at home, and willingness to step out of our comfort zones. Yeah, I mean, that's really one of the key things to open yourself up to learning, is to begin to try something new and open up your ideas to new perspectives. And it was lovely. I mean, I feel really by now we're starting to feel that we have a group of learners, which is lovely, and you have been really interacting with each other. Thank you, Manira, for adding that motivation to study again and listening skills. Yes, absolutely. Okay, thanks very much. It looks like you feel you've got a lot of skills after the last week or so, and that journey will continue. Now, one more interaction that we'd like to get from you. So you don't need to use the pencil for this, but if you click on T at the top of the screen and then click anywhere on the slide, you can begin to type, and you can write one thing that you've enjoyed or that you feel you've gained from the Adult Learner Summer School. And you don't have to add or include why you've chosen this particular point, but just think about that, because that will be where we take our reflection after. So one thing that you feel you've enjoyed or you've gained from the Adult Learner Summer School. And if you're not able to click on the T and click on the slide and type, you can put it in the chat and we can put it on the slide for you. That's also fine. And of course, you always have the option to raise your hand if you'd rather just speak to us. Marvellous. Someone's already put a sense of community, as I feel it's been really friendly and inclusive. Oh, we must take a screenshot of this. This is marvellous. Thank you. That's what we hoped for. This is what we set out to do, was try and replicate the sense of community and the warmth of the ALSS. I mean, I think my colleagues and a lot of the learning champions would agree that that's something we take really seriously. We try and make sure people have that sense of belonging and community in the Lifelong Learning Centre. Okay, we've got listening skills, enthusiasm and motivation, trusting myself and making my decisions, your support. That's good. It's good to know that. I mean, that's kind of part of the reason as well for running the information sessions and making sure that guidance runs throughout, the opportunity to speak to Denise and Mohammed and talk through your options. We know that it can be a long and difficult and quite emotional process, thinking about whether you want to take the next step and enter into some formal learning. So it's important to have that support and make sure that you've got quality information to make an informed choice. Yes, lovely to know that we're not isolated, that there are others with similar circumstances maybe, and that there's a community of adults all wanting to engage some learning, and motivation to study and look for opportunities and gain new skills. Marvellous. And we've also got confidence and self-esteem. Anything else that anybody would like to add here that you feel you've gained from the summer school? I mean, that's absolutely loads. Confidence and self-esteem, fantastic. So please do think as we move on about why you've chosen this particular point or points. And this is very nice, that we can still interact online in strange times. Yeah. And I'm not isolated. So I think I certainly made the mistake at the beginning of this COVID-19 period of thinking, oh, well, that's it, then we won't be able to connect with anyone. It's going to be very isolating. And it can feel like that sometimes, but it's been great for us to know that people still want to learn, want to interact with us, that we can help and support in some way. So, you know, we're grateful to you for being brave to think about this and take the next step at this during what isn't an easy time for many people. Knowing the university campus, so that's lovely. People have appreciated that, and as I said, there is a repeat of the campus tour coming up. We'll post details in the chat later on. And courage from other students is so amazing, yeah, but also take a moment to reflect on the courage that you're bringing to this process right now. Okay, you taught me to be positive. Wow, incredible. Great. Well, do be positive, because there's no reason why you can't pursue your goals if learning is something that you'd like to do. Okay, unless anybody's got anything to add to this, I'll move on now. I'm going to hand over to Fiona at this point.
Thanks very much, Olivia. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. And as Casey and Olivia said, I really feel like we've got a bit of a summer school community here, which is lovely. So I'm just going to really continue from what Olivia was discussing, is thinking about why we enjoyed it. And you were answering that. You were talking about increased self-awareness and trusting yourself and confidence and self-esteem, taking our courage in our hands and going for it. And so we're just going to kind of think about that why question, because that, I think, is so much the important thing when we're learning. So we've got this quote here from John Dewey, who is an educationalist, and it says, "We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on our experience." So it's kind of thinking about things and analysing. And I know people will be reflecting all the time, and we're just going to kind of have a think about why it might be useful in higher education. And I can see, Bev's also added people learning to use Zoom, etc. So that's another thing. It's reflecting on how far we've come in terms of our online stuff, our online skills. If someone had told me I'd be doing this a few months ago, I would have completely laughed at them. But yeah, we are all learning. So thinking about reflection, we've got here, the more you reflect on your learning, the easier it is to find moments, experiences and opportunities for learning. And I think this relates back to Schnow's picture at the beginning of the doors opening, and the light, and what you were saying about open the door and there's so learning there. The more you reflect, the more you kind of make connections and understand how things fit into perhaps a bigger picture, and raise your kind of understanding of things. So we're just good. And within, I think at university, reflections is within every single degree that you would do. So I thought it might be useful to have a little bit of a theory here. So we've got Gibbs's reflexive cycle, and we'll just talk through this, and do you add any comments that you think about it, or whether you recognise that you do all this, or if it's something that's kind of very new, just do let us know. So at the top, it's if we think about something, we can think about what happened, and that's a really good starting point. And then considering how we were feeling about it, and feelings are so important. I think we always have to acknowledge our feelings, don't we? Because they really are a pointer to maybe to help us get at the kind of heart of something. And then we can take a bit of a more evaluative approach, what was good and bad about that experience. And I found that really useful in so many things in my life, thinking about, well, what really was good and what was bad? And then what can you do different? So that's the kind of analysis, that's the why bit, I think. How can we understand this situation? Why did that happen? What contributed to it? Was it just my own actions? Were there other things at play? Was it something to do with other people's actions? Was it something to do with my situation or my environment, society, politics, government? We can go as broad as we want to try and analyse our own positions in something. And then we can conclude, what else could you have done? So what could have been done differently? And what could we have changed for that to be differently done? Or maybe we couldn't have changed anything, I don't know. And then we can think, well, if it happened again, what would we do next? So this is quite a kind of empowering tool in many ways to think about things that have happened to us, or things that we've done, and why they happened, and what could be done different. I think it can help us emerge in a very positive and constructive way out of an experience. And this is very much a crucial tool, I think, for studying. So I know people have had experiences maybe of doing a foundation year or doing other studying at college, but it can really give you the basis to then start analysing ideas. So for example, if you're going on to do the preparation for a higher education course, Lynn, the tutor, starts getting people to write a reflective journal every week, reflecting on their learning, which again can lead to some really important moments for us to understand ourselves. I think it's all about self-awareness and understanding what we know and what we don't know. And this really reflects back, I think, to all your pictures that you put up earlier. So thank you for those. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is just thinking like, why is reflection useful? So we've talked about maybe developing self-awareness, which is useful in all our life, in every aspect. It's also really good for us because it helps us distance ourselves from an issue and critically analyze it. So if we can kind of climb out of something that we're in and just take a bit of a view of it, it can really help us kind of get a new perspective on it and think about it from perhaps different points of view. And again, that's a really, really important skill that you might need at university. So thinking about the Jumpstart course, that's definitely something we do within Jumpstart, is looking at the critical thinking. But you would do it within anything that you studied, from English literature to nursing to sociology, anything like that. And it's also, I think, a very useful tool for your own just life in general, and the fact that it can lead to deeper learning. So again, going back to Schnow's doors opening for deeper learning. So we've got so what we'd like you to do now is just tick any of these three which you feel is perhaps relevant to you, any which maybe speak to you or chime with you. You don't have to tick them all, you can if you want to, but just using the pencil tool again that Olivia showed you last time. So do just kind of tick any. So distance yourself from an issue and yeah, absolutely. So we've got some recognition in all sorts of things. That's lovely. I'm just looking at the chat as well. April's written, Gibbs's graph is great. Like it, yeah, it's like your experience with technology. That's brilliant that you can relate it to it. And Casey said it can be used to tell parts of our story. So that's really nice. So that's fabulous. Everyone's recognizing why reflection can help, and it's really nice that you've kind of been with us over these few weeks in our summer school. It has been a bit of a journey in many ways, and that we can reflect back and think about our learning, and that you can recognize different areas, whether it's on developing our online learning or self-awareness or critical thinking or whatever it is. So that's just something to kind of continue thinking about. So thank you very much for that, everybody. So the next slide is really a general one, which is just thinking, just take a minute to think, what would you take away from the Adult Learner Summer School? Is there anything in particular? I know you can repeat what you said already, but is there maybe just one thing that you would take away from the Adult Learner Summer School? So do use the T at the top there to write a text, sorry, T, which is the text tool, to write anything in. I think we've also got it in the chat actually. So Joe said it's important to have that distance as you see the bigger picture. Absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. So if there's anything that you'd like to add, please do. Maybe we have covered it already. Oh, we've got something there. Thank you. To remember to think critically as I read and watch, absolutely. And anybody who went to Lynn's session the other week, critical thinking relating to the media, was really, really important. Reflective messages from the champion students, yeah, absolutely. They are so inspiring. I think they are the people who make the difference. If you're not sure whether higher education is for you, our learning champions are definitely the people to inspire you to think it is a possibility. Confidence to follow my learning journey, although I still have fears, absolutely, keep on going. And part of our job here is to give you that support to keep going. And I feel I can confidently move forward from now. In my experience, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm very pleased about that. And my motivation is so high, I can't wait to get started. Oh, that's lovely. That is brilliant. So many different things going on then. So if anything else, please do add it, but I'm slightly aware we're running out of time a little bit. So I think actually what we've got here has really encapsulated so many things with the summer school. Our guidance appointment was very useful and motivating. Thank you, Bindi, for that one. Excellent. So that's the other important thing, is getting the right advice and guidance for yourself. So it's a mixture of all sorts of things. Okay, that's wonderful. So could we have I wonder if somebody could just take a screenshot of that, because it's really nice to capture it. Okay, thank you very much, Casey. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Jenny now for the next slide, and she's going to tell us a bit about thinking about what next. So over to you, Jenny.
Hi guys, yeah, so just obviously all the lovely things that Olivia and Fiona and Casey have been talking about, just to think of a few things together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to think about sort of all the things you put on the whiteboard, so what you gained during the Adult Learner Summer School, and also sort of how you're feeling now. Think how you're feeling now after experiencing these online sessions, all these positive, great, wonderful things you've been saying about feeling like you've got more courage and you're more positive. So what I want you to do is I'm going to put a link in the chat, which I'm about to get. And what I want you to do is to click on the link, and then I want you to fill in this just really simple form, and I want you to write a message to yourself. So sometimes it's really easy to sort of feel in a certain way now and you're feeling really positive, and what I want you to do is to write a message to yourself that you'll be able to get in 2 months' time when we email it to you. So I'll put that in the chat now. So if you click on that link, and it'll open in a different window, and if you fill in that really quick form, I just want you to just take a couple of minutes just to really think, what do you want to be telling yourself in two months' time? Like Casey said when we were talking about this, it's sort of like traveling in time. You're going to be able to talk to your future self. Yeah, so just how you're feeling at the moment. It could be sort of a note what you're wanting to do before 2 months' time. So whether you're wanting to have a guidance appointment, want to maybe look at different course options, whether you want to just come to another online session. So yeah, but it could be just reminding yourself how you're feeling right now. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. When you've done that, it would be great if you just pop it in the chat. So if you just put a yes or a no, and what we'll do as well is we're going to send that, if you haven't got the technology to maybe do that on a separate form, we are going to send it also in the follow-up email as well. So we're quite happy to do that at the moment, but also we'll be sending that in the follow-up. So again, just one more thing to finish off. People who, so yeah, you're going to put that on your motivational message, buddy. That's great. You want to start your application next week. That would be lovely. So some people who attended the welcome session did a Mentimeter, and I just wanted to remind you of how you were feeling. So we're time traveling into the future with your motivational message, and now we're time traveling back to 3 weeks ago before you started the summer school and how you were feeling. So some of the things were worried, excited, daunted, unsure. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do another one of these, and we're going to see how you're feeling at the moment. So I want you to go to ment.com, and I will, in a second, this is where it feels really uneasy for me because I can't see what you can see. I feel like I'm and you're going to use the code 778895. So you're going to go to menti.com. I think Olivia's put it in the chat. And then it will ask you to put in a code. So I just want you to put in the code 778895. And then it will ask you to just put in 3 different words. So just how do you feel about university now? So after doing 3 weeks of how many online sessions you've done, it's varied for a lot of you. But how do you feel about university now? I'll just give you a minute or 2 to do that. So we should start to see words on the screen at some point soon. Here we go. So lovely. Can we see that in the room, everybody? Because obviously I can't see what you can see. But so we can see excited, supported, motivated. That's great. So the bigger the word, it means more people it. So we've got really excited still. But it's nice to see that you feel supported and motivated as well. Have we got any more? Looking forward to it. Fantastic. Eager and confident. Amazing. Loads of positive stuff. I'll just give you another minute. We've got any more? Lovely. Another confident and life journey. Yeah, it's very much a journey. That's great. Fantastic. All right, guys. So I will stop sharing that now. Is somebody all right to put the slides up just while coming back through for me? It'll just be a bit quicker because it'll take some time for me to come out of this. So I think, yeah, I'll pass over to, I'm not sure who's doing this bit.
It's me again. I feel like my voice is all over this, so I'm sorry if you're getting sick of the sound of my voice, everyone. Thank you for that, Jenny. Just to let you know then that the Mentimeter is something that we keep. It's another kind of evaluation tool for us. So even though that might have disappeared off your screens, it's really useful for us to be able to see a bit of a before and after in terms of how you felt at the beginning of the summer school and how you might be feeling now. So thank you for taking part in that. I know it's not always easy to add to these things, especially in another screen, but thank you, April. Yes, I think we can add "you're inspired and proud." Lovely thoughts there to add into the Mentimeter. So what's next? I mean, it's not a case of you come to the summer school and then that's it, you're on your own. We very much want to be here to support you with your next steps. Don't forget that our advice and guidance service is open to you at any point. Hopefully now from registering for sessions and hearing from Greg, you're in contact with us. You can get in touch at any point and book a telephone appointment with Denise or Mohammed to talk through your options. And that's not a one-off offer. You may have one now, and then you may be doing something at college or for in another institution and need to have another one in a year's time, and that's absolutely fine. We're also starting some advice and guidance drop-in sessions, which will be in a collaborate space, very similar to this one, starting next Wednesday at 12 p.m. 12 till 1 every other Wednesday from the 15th of July. Denise and Mohammed will just be there to answer your questions if you want to drop in. If you don't have you don't need a full appointment, but you've just got something that you need to check out. So that might be useful for you. Solomon, for example, you mentioned you had one particular question, but also you're welcome to have a full guidance appointment if there's more to explore there. John is running a repeat of the very useful Introduction to Student Finance session next week on the 16th of July at 2 p.m. So if you haven't attended one of those in the past, try and get along to it or catch up with the recordings on YouTube, because it's a chance to get a real overview of how student finance works for higher education, and particularly for adult learners, and to ask questions about your specific situation. And again, that invitation to join our Facebook Return to Study group. I know some of you have already, but that's lovely. It's a lovely way of keeping in touch with each other and keeping in touch with learning champions and adults who are already studying at university, and you can ask them questions about what might be the best way for you to take your next step. And the Padlet will stay going beyond the summer school, so please do continue to use that. And obviously catch up with any sessions that you might have missed on our YouTube channel. Yeah, Casey, thank you for putting the link for the Facebook group in, and also the LLC event. So our landing page will be updated with all the new events that we've got coming up. And the one that's completely new is something that Jenny and Paul and Nadine are doing in a couple of weeks about studying around other commitments. So particularly looking at parents, carers, people who might have other responsibilities outside of their education, and just seeing how that can work in a realistic way to study alongside those responsibilities. Okay. Casey, did you want to say something about YouTube here?
Yeah, just really quickly, and April, again, you've already kind of paved the way with this, and anybody else who's managed to find our YouTube channel, please find us. Just literally search in the YouTube app. If you can get the YouTube app, it's better than searching it online, only because it allows you to subscribe to our channel, and then you can be alerted every time that we put something new up there. But don't worry if you don't have the app as well. But yeah, we have a YouTube channel that we just put on all the online sessions. They're all pre-recorded, and we pop them on there. And like April did, you know, she's gone through them as a learning tool, as a reflective tool, and just as a resource for you to do some research and to kind of get into that flow of study as well. So it's a really good starting point. And we have different playlists for people at different stages as well. So do go and find us on YouTube and just kind of stay linked in with us on there. That'd be really great to see you accessing that. All right, thanks, Olivia.
Thank you, Casey. And just to finish off, apart from saying thank you to all of you for sticking with us, and I'm aware that we've overrun today, so you know, timekeeping obviously is a lifelong learning skill that we need to work a bit on, and apologies for keeping you longer than the advertised time, but we're just aware that it is a very stressful and difficult time for many people at the moment for all sorts of reasons. So we've put some resources here which we can also share with you after the summer school, just to remind ourselves to look after our own health and well-being as well, because taking this step towards furthering your education, as we said at the beginning, takes a lot of confidence. It can be quite emotional, reflecting on your past experiences. That in itself is a difficult process to go through. We want to support you with that, but it's never more difficult than at the moment, I'm sure. So please do have a look at some of these resources, just to keep checking in with your own mental health and well-being throughout your journey. And Nadine has put these together, and there's some lovely things on there. We're particularly fond of Yoga with Adrienne, who has lots and lots of free from very beginners right through to more advanced yoga videos on YouTube that you can access. And there's nothing like Sly and the Family Stone to cheer you up and get you moving. That's who you've been learning with. So okay, so you can start off lying on the floor breathing, but you can work your way up to headstands if you want to be like Jenny, and really fitness and strength going. So there's meditations, there's all sorts of different things in there. Lovely. And Casey has very kindly put a link to the evaluation form for this session in the chat. That would be marvellous if you take a couple of minutes after the session to just fill that in, and also before you go, if you could just complete the poll to let us know what you thought of our closing session for the Adult Learner Summer School, and we'll keep a record of that. And as we always say, it really does matter to us what you think of the activity that we're doing, because it is new to us and it's possible that we may need to continue working in this way for a while. We want to keep learning and developing and improving the way that we engage with adults. So be honest with us, whatever we can learn for the future, we're very happy to. So thank you to all of you, and the best of luck with your next steps. I'm seeing some lovely comments in the chat here. You are very supportive. At the beginning, I had a bleary vision about studying or applying, and gradually it's become clear. I trust myself to make my decision. Thank you for your support and answering all my questions. Oh, that's fantastic. And Joe, summer school has been brilliant. Thank you for making it fun and interesting. Looking forward to September. Well, we're very much looking forward to seeing you, some of you, in September. Best of luck with whatever you're going on to do next. Keep in touch with us, however, and bear in mind that we're here for advice and guidance and any support at any point in your journey that you might need.